First of all, I want to say I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. I know you guys are probably back to work this week, and the start of a new work week has begun. But WWE, as always, tends to put a damper on a holiday weekend. I did not have the urge or the feeling to sit here after watching that show last night and record a review for you guys last night. It took me till today to finally just digest the fucking bullshit that we seen on Monday Night Raw again for a second straight week after what was probably one of the worst Monday Night Raw shows in its 25-year history just 1 week ago. Typically with WWE holiday shows, they tend to be lazy. They don't really put on a good show. It has absolutely no meaning. WWE continued that trend last night on Monday Night Raw. But this time, we got a B-team barbecue that was not only symbolic with certain individuals involved in the segment, but after last week's Bobby Lashley segment, this is what you put on television. I don't think WWE has any more room for error after the contracts that they are about to sign with NBC Universal and Fox Sports, respectfully, individually for their shows. I don't understand how one could look at Monday Night Raw last night and say, yeah, this was a good show. I don't see why people are so forgiving of Monday Night Raw the last couple of weeks. It was a good show. It's entertainment. They're trying to build entertainment. Entertainment is more prominent in the company than the actual in-ring product. Well, I think they need to start stepping away from the entertainment aspect of that, because whatever the fuck they're putting on television is not entertaining. It's not. I'm barely entertained by what I'm seeing in the ring. I'm not laughing at the entertainment that you're providing outside of the in-ring product. You know, Monday Night Raw, honestly, week to week to week, is the same script over and over and over again. It's the same script week to week with minor changes to different segments here and there. For example, Monday Night Raw opens up with a decent Braun Strowman promo about how he's going to be Monster in the Bank and how he's going to name drop Brock Lesnar, because that's who really should be challenging for the Universal Championship, not Roman Reigns, who we will not be talking about here on this review. Believe it or not, Roman wasn't even on the show last night. And one thing, the only thing I'm going to mention about Roman Reigns is, was the show affected by Roman being there or not? Did you miss Roman Reigns last night? Would Roman Reigns, this is the better question. Would Roman Reigns would have made a better part of the show, or would he have made Monday Night Raw better than it was last night? The answer is no. So how much influence, how much direct influence does Roman Reigns have on this product if he himself would not even enhance this show one iota? None. Roman Reigns would not make this show any better than it was last night. And for you guys to call him the man, the guy, the number one, he can't be those things, because if he was, then he would make the show better than it was. And he doesn't. So he wasn't really missed last night at all. I didn't even realize he was there or wasn't there. It makes absolutely no difference. Now, back to the original point I was trying to make. This show is the same thing over and over and over again every single week. They use the same script with minor changes. So what does WWE do? Believe it or not, they gave you a main event last week that was not seen before. It was literally a first time ever. Braun Strowman and Finn Balor, in which I praised the work of Finn Balor because Braun Strowman is still very green at what he does in the ring. We've been watching Braun Strowman over the last year. Hardly any singles matches. Roman and Braun Strowman had a very good feud last year. I will admit that. They complement each other very well. A lot of people say Finn Balor's a vanilla midget. Finn Balor versus the bigger guys in the company is not believable. Finn Balor doesn't have believable offense against a guy the size and the strength of Braun Strowman. I brought up, different ways in which a lot of those people were wrong. For example, take the CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam many years ago. And take the AJ Styles match with Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series this past November. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yes, Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, they're two guys in the same universe. They're the same type of athlete here in WWE. The only difference is Brock Lesnar won UFC gold. Braun Strowman is not. But inside a WWE ring, Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar are identical. And if CM Punk brought Brock Lesnar to probably one of his best matches ever, and AJ Styles had one of the best matches of the year with Brock Lesnar, what makes you think Finn Balor couldn't do the same? He did it against Braun Strowman, and it ended up being a great main event. How does WWE ruin all of that? How does WWE ruin the one positive that we could take away from last week's show? Let's do it over again. Let's do it again, but this time, not in the main event. We'll do it to open the show. WWE took whatever special moment that was last week and how great of a match that was for television last week, and they ruined it this week. Whatever you seen last night between Braun Strowman and Finn Balor did not need to happen at all. All it did was serve a purpose for Kevin Owens, who coincidentally is in the Money in the Bank match, to play outside interference against Braun Strowman and set up a match for next week against Braun Strowman or whomever he's going up against next week. It's serving a purpose to get all the Money in the Bank guys on Raw involved with each other in these matches that mean absolutely fucking nothing to the program because WWE doesn't have anything else better to do. Do you want to know why I criticize creatives so heavily every single week? It's because they fucking deserve it. This show has no creative direction and the shows are fucking terrible. Instead of playing this thing out, WWE rushes to get Money in the Bank all squared away, and they leave themselves with 4 weeks of television that mean nothing. Yet I'm the one who's wrong. Yet I'm the one who bitches and complains. See, the way to book these shows would have been to drag this shit out. You would have one Money in the Bank match per week. Instead, WWE gave you the entire Raw side of Money in the Bank in 1 week, 2 weeks tops. Now we're sitting with the next 4 weeks of this 6-week build. Believe it or not, we had 6 weeks coming out of Backlash till Money in the Bank. We have 4 weeks of the 6 weeks that mean nothing because the entire Money in the Bank landscape is already laid out. Instead of building it week to week to week, not only to make the Money in the Bank match look more important, but to give these shows meaning. These shows have no meaning. They are worthless because everybody's in Money in the Bank. Everybody that you know is in Money in the Bank, instead of building up intrigue about who's going to be in there, now WWE, in the formulaic and typical fashion in which they do, they're putting these guys in random matches because they don't have any other ideas brought to the table. This is how simple-minded and feeble their minds are. They don't care. And it rings true to what I said on Off the Script. The more money they make, the more lazy they will get, and the quality of the shows will not matter. They don't care about the television shows. They don't care what is going on these shows. Because their revenue and their bottom line is lining their pockets with so much green that they couldn't give a single fuck. The other thing about why creative is so fucking terrible on these shows, yet I'll get fucking complaints on Twitter about me bitching and complaining about another week of Monday Night Raw, but you're the fucking idiots. The trolls, I mean, not the people that listen to me. The people that listen to me know what the fuck I'm talking about and expect this from me. But the trolls on social media who don't know any better, they'll fucking bend over and have that WWE dildo right up their ass. They'll drink the WWE Kool-Aid every single week because they're mere sheep and they follow everything that's positive on social media instead of having a brain and a mind of their own to come up with their own thoughts and logic. WWE again dropped the ball with the women's division. As always on Monday night, another prime fucking example of how you fucked up something that could have been so great for the women's division on Monday Night Raw. You want to make the gauntlet match for the women because you're trying to ride the coattails of Seth Rollins and what you did for the men's gauntlet match. Instead of building it in the same fucking way that you did the men's match, you made a fucking mockery out of it. They made a mockery out of the women's gauntlet match for Money in the Bank. Not even the fact that, of course, I knew they were going to have a last chance. Because really, who else is there to be in Money in the Bank? How many women do you have on the roster in which you can have all these matches? WWE gave you triple threat matches every fucking week to determine all the women on the Raw side. So now, instead of having one-on-one matches, which makes not only the division look more important, the qualifying match look important, the Money in the Bank match look more important. WWE wants to give you triple threats and fatal four-ways every week, and then they want to put all of them together in a last chance match and make it seem like it's some big fucking deal. Negative. WWE dropped the ball in that aspect. Number two, you got Bayley and Sasha Banks, which are the only fucking thing that matter in this gauntlet match. Ruby Riot's been great, don't get me wrong, but the Riot Squad are fucking garbage. They have absolutely no importance to this show or SmackDown Live in the 5-6 months that they've been on the main roster. The one thing you had at the top of the priority list here was Sasha and Bayley. That was it. And what did WWE do? Instead of booking it correctly, instead of booking Sasha like Seth Rollins, because she really is, if you want to think about it, the Seth Rollins of the women's division on Monday Night Raw. That's how you should be booking her. Just like Seth Rollins being the best on the men's side coming out of WrestleMania 32, Rollins has been the best for the men. Sasha has been the best coming out of WrestleMania 32 for the women. That's how you should be booking Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks should have drew number one in that gauntlet match. Sasha Banks should have went through Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan. She should have went through Dana Brooke, Ruby Riott, and the last one that could, Mickie James. And the last one that should have come out should have been Bayley. Bayley should have been the last woman to enter that gauntlet match, with Sasha putting on not an hour and 15 minutes like Seth Rollins, but at least a half an hour. At least a half an hour. The majority of that should have been taken up by Ruby Riott and Mickie James. The other ones, garbage. No issue there. The majority of that match should have been taken up by 15 minutes with Mickie and 15 minutes with Ruby Riott. The other ones, you could have been rapid eliminations. And the last one to come out should have been Bayley. Now, the story that should have been told here was Sasha went through this entire match, holding this fucking thing on her back, with Bayley coming in and reaping the benefits of Sasha's hard work. That's what should have been done, and that's the story that should have been told. Sasha would have ended up losing because of all the work that she did, and she was beaten down through 30 plus minutes of this gauntlet match, only to see Bayley come in and in 5 minutes erase all of Sasha's hard work. I would have been okay with Sasha not winning the gauntlet match, because this, just like the Elimination Chamber, WWE fucked up. It's about time we start giving Sasha Banks some legitimate importance on this show. And the first thing that needs to be done is turn her heel. I don't care how much merchandise she's selling. I don't care what she means to the little girls. That's what you got Bayley for. Bayley would have entered Money in the Bank, and due to Sasha holding this match on her back with Bayley reaping the benefits, Bayley would have went to Money in the Bank. And then when you get to Money in the Bank, when Bayley's about to grab the briefcase, what do? Sasha, who's not on the card, comes in out of sheer jealousy and ruins Bayley's moment. Bayley once again taking everything away from Sasha Banks. This is my time. This is my moment. It's not supposed to be you. Heel turn. WWE, for a second time this year, with Sasha Banks, dropped the ball. That's how that gauntlet match should have been booked. They booked that gauntlet match last night in the worst possible fucking way. They eliminated Bayley with absolutely the most anticlimactic way possible. The Riot Squad was eliminated in less than 3 minutes. And I'm talking about Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. If that doesn't tell you what WWE thinks of the Riot Squad, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Get Ruby Riott away from those two, because they are just holding Ruby Riott down. And she is too good of a performer to be straddled with two losers like that. If you're going to treat them that way, there's no reason why Ruby Riott has to be lumped into that at all. They booked that gauntlet match fucking terribly. And I'm sorry if nobody agrees with me. I really don't give a shit if you do or you don't. That's what should have been done last night. So WWE, from the beginning to the end and everything in between, fucked everything up. They gave you a main event last week, which was great for television, ruined that special moment by giving it to you again, just to have Kevin Owens interfere against Braun Strowman. And then the gauntlet match was ruined because WWE has zero creativity and they want to hang their fucking hat on a lack of storytelling in the women's division. Moving on to the other women's program that's happening on Monday Night Raw that not only is garbage, but it also insults our intelligence. And it wasted not only your time, but it wasted my time. Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey for the Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. What was the story that WWE told during this entire run leading up to their match at WrestleMania? Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, right? Nia Jax was being bullied by Alexa Bliss. Nia Jax was this baby face and she stood up for bullying. And if you're ever being bullied, stand up for yourself. They even had her cut that terrible fucking promo. I don't know when it was. I don't remember when it was or where it was. Needless to say, I don't really give a fuck. But they had her come out after she beat Alexa Bliss for a second time. I believe it was at Backlash. And they had her cut that terrible promo. Stand up for yourself. If you're ever feeling bullied, do something against the bully. Stand up for yourself. Be a star. Pushing that fucking campaign, that bullying campaign from WWE. What does WWE have Nia Jax do? They have her go out there and they have her prove Alexa Bliss right. I guess Nia Jax was the bully all along. So Nia Jax wants you to stand up for bullying, but her herself is bullying not only the referee, not only the opponent that she has in the ring, but she's bullying Ronda Rousey. And I'm supposed to hang my hat on Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey and the story you're trying to tell when you can't even get the story right. When you're insulting my intelligence. Do you want Nia to be against bullying, or do you want Nia Jax to be the bully? You can't have her be both. And that's what WWE is doing right now. But the trolls and the fucking idiots who don't have a brain on social media, they're not going to conjure a thought like that. They're going to take it in and be like, oh, Nia Jax is great heel. No shit. She should have never been babyface to begin with. She should have never been in the position to get a title shot to be portrayed as a babyface to begin with. Now WWE turned her babyface and then they're turning her heel to get Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax on the Money in the Bank card. All to get Ronda on the card. You erased 4 months of storytelling that you told with Nia Jax. And I'm supposed to sit here and say, yeah, this is good television. Again, Monday Night Raw shows you why this script is absolutely fucking garbage. It was written in crayon, and they probably don't even have a fucking script. This show is not for the ones who like long-term planning. This is, I would not put it past this company to book the show on the fly as the show is happening. They are ridiculous. And I'm supposed to believe that Nia Jax now is going from babyface to heel, and now she's bullying Ronda Rousey and everybody to strike fear into Ronda. What happened with Alexa? Alexa was proven right. Alexa looks like the biggest winner out of all this. Nia Jax is the women's champion, and she looks like the most embarrassing woman on that entire roster. Alexa looks like the big winner here, if you ask me. Does Nia Jax look better as a heel? Absolutely. I want to see bitch Nia Jax. I want to see evil Nia Jax. I want to see Nia Jax pushing people around. Just goes to show you that the roles should have been reversed going into WrestleMania. Alexa could have been heel. Nia should have been heel, but they shouldn't have been going one-on-one with each other. Goes to show you again I was right. Should have been Sasha and Bayley for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Whatever we've seen at WrestleMania shouldn't have happened, and it was a complete waste of everybody's time, and the lack of storytelling is fucking embarrassing by WWE. Garbage. Garbage. Am I excited for that match at Money in the Bank? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The one shining thing on this show was the fact that we talked about it on Off the Script. It was Elias and Seth Rollins, possibly for the Intercontinental Championship. There were stories coming out about how Seth Rollins and Jeff Hardy don't have opponents right now for Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins is the hottest guy in the company. He needs an opponent going into Money in the Bank. He's not in the ladder match itself for the briefcase, but he does have the Intercontinental Championship, and he needs to keep that string of momentum going into Chicago. I mentioned Elias. Not because of his overwhelming great win-loss record. I didn't mention Elias because I am very high on Elias. I mentioned Elias because of his genuine heel reaction every single week. And I mentioned that WWE has the potential to have a great mid-card on Monday Night Raw if they so choose to have one. Elias is the perfect opponent for Seth Rollins. He gets a genuine reaction that people, that just brings out the best in the audience. Whether he wants to get cheers, whether people want to cheer him, it's easy. And then he turns it on like a switch. He can automatically get the crowd to fucking boo him and hate him. Rollins is an overwhelming fan favorite. Some of you think that Rollins is the face of not only WWE, but indeed the face of Monday Night Raw. And the fact that Elias hasn't had a title shot yet and has had such a great string of momentum and such an organic and natural feel to him, I feel, minus the win-loss record, because wins and losses don't matter in WWE anymore, that he deserves an opportunity. And there's no better heel right now that could go against Seth Rollins as a babyface than Elias. This is the reason why I wanted the title on a babyface like a Seth Rollins. I had originally pitched Finn Balor, but Seth Rollins is proving me to be wrong. Seth Rollins has done a great job with that IC title. And the title looks that much better on a babyface with someone like Elias being a heel chasing him. And you know what? Seth Rollins had a very, very difficult task ahead of him last night on Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been against Jinder Mahal for the longest time, but he did bring Jinder Mahal to a decent match last night. It wasn't Jinder's best TV match. That's reserved for AJ Styles. But he did bring Jinder to a decent TV match. When things got to the point of breaking down at the end and Sunil Singh came in to interfere, I'm like, here we go. WWE did a nice job at portraying the story of Jinder possibly stealing the title away with all that chaos at the end. Seth Rollins takes the steel chair. He's fighting off Sunil Singh and Jinder Mahal at the same time. Takes the steel chair and just gets so frustrated with this shit breaking down that he just starts wailing away on Jinder with the steel chair. He starts wailing away on Sunil Singh, and he gets himself disqualified. I like that aspect because sometimes a babyface needs to stand up for himself and say, fuck this shit. I'm not letting this bullshit end my title reign. And that's exactly what Seth Rollins did. But before that, the most interesting aspect of this was when Elias was in the ring trying to do story time with Elias, and he was running down the city that they were in last night, and he wanted to have his one-man show. Seth Rollins comes in and interferes and breaks up Elias's guitar playing. And there was a nice little stare down there in which Seth Rollins ushered Elias out of the ring as if he doesn't belong in the ring. This is my stage now. Get the fuck off. So Elias calmly, drifting away. Everything breaks down in the IC title match. Rollins is doing what he can. He saves the title for himself. He takes the DQ. He doesn't care. Rollins is celebrating because he chases Sunil and Jinder Mahal away. Out of nowhere, Elias takes the guitar and returns to the stage area where Rollins is because he's standing on the commentary table. He takes the guitar, shatters it over his neck and his back, and Rollins goes off the table, off the stage, into some debris down below. The next thing you know, he's being stretched out of the building, or at least denying medical attention. They put a neck brace on him. He wants to stand up on his own. He doesn't want to look defeated in front of everybody. This is great stuff. I don't remember if it's the exact way that I pitched it, but this is a great way to start this feud. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that this was not done weeks ago. And that WWE, it's coming off as if they're merely just putting this match together to get Elias and Seth Rollins and the title on the show just for the sake of getting them on the show. There's no real storyline between these guys. What's the issue? The issue stemmed from last night. The issue stemmed from Rollins disrespecting Elias. But a greater story should have been told weeks ago leading up to this. That's the only aspect I don't like, that it's just being put together for the sake of them getting on Money in the Bank. But I'm loving what we're seeing so far. The story that was told with Jinder and Rollins' frustration was great. The fact that he disrespected Elias and Elias walked away, and then Elias coming out when Rollins was least expecting it, and he took advantage of Rollins with his back turn, man. That was great stuff last night. And one of, if the only moment of the show that I actually enjoyed. Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn is indeed happening. And WWE, I don't know what their intention is with this. I find it very difficult to believe that this is the best that they got for Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley going into Money in the Bank. This is pathetic. Again, I feel heartbroken for Sami Zayn that he has to endure such bullshit. This is ridiculous. And then Bobby Lashley coming out there with terrible mic skills, challenging Sami Zayn to a match at Money in the Bank. Who the fuck signed off for this match? You think after the 2 weeks of television that we've seen, with a few more weeks to go for you to tell this story, nobody wants to see anything else from these two. Nobody wants to see anything from this story. I don't even know what the story is at this point. What makes you think by putting these two on the match, or in a match on that card, Chicago's gonna fucking do anything but shit all over these two? And that sucks to say about Sami Zayn. That is ridiculous. I don't understand how you could sit there and say, yeah, Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn's gonna be a decent match. Let's put that on Money in the Bank. In Chicago? I hope they fucking burn that match to the ground. And that sucks because Sami Zayn is one of my favorite guys in the WWE. He's got a great presentation to him. He cuts a great promo. He's entertaining. Bobby Lashley, on the other hand, I still think that WWE is making this guy pay for his time away in TNA. There's no reason why this guy is being booked like that. You talk about people saying Bobby Lashley wasn't going to move the needle coming into WWE. Imagine what those people are thinking now. This guy is fucking dead and buried. There's no resurrecting Bobby Lashley from this. I don't want to see him. I don't care about him. Put him in a match with Brock Lesnar. I hope Brock Lesnar uses him as a fucking toothpick to clean his teeth after feasting on him. This guy is fucking garbage. He's got a new shirt. Coming back to dominate or dominating everyone. You ain't dominating fucking anything. This guy is an embarrassment to Monday Night Raw. And WWE has really killed anything or any hope that there was with Bobby Lashley. Yet they're putting this match on at Money in the Bank. I hope it's a fucking failure. At least WWE gave you a bathroom break at Money in the Bank. Other than that, man, I don't know what else to tell you. There wasn't much of anything on Monday Night Raw. The only other thing I could think of is I read a story about Bobby Roode. I read a story about Bobby Roode. And there was an article posted by Dirty Sheets and Bill Body. Now, take him with a grain of salt if you guys want to, believe me in what I'm telling you here. Reported by Dirty Sheets. They got the scoop on why Bobby Roode has been treated like garbage since coming over from SmackDown Live. WWE, apparently, more notably Vince McMahon, is uninterested in Bobby Roode. Now, I don't know what caused this, but according to Dirty Sheets, they got the scoop, and they feel, and they're reporting, that when WWE brought Bobby Roode to SmackDown Live, that Vince McMahon was dead on Bobby Roode from the get-go, right from his first feud. He put him in a feud with Dolph Ziggler. And when they heard the reactions to Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and the fact that Bobby Roode wasn't really getting that much more reaction than Dolph Ziggler, who they considered dead at that point, and they probably still consider him dead. The fact that he's with Drew McIntyre right now is the only thing that Dolph Ziggler's holding his hat on. But the fact that Bobby Roode didn't get any more of a reaction than Dolph Ziggler did was all that Vince McMahon needed. So I ask you, is WWE showing you any care for their talent that they bring up from NXT? Or are they automatically trying to sabotage anything that WWE, most notably Triple H, is doing in NXT? Because there's no reason why you're going to bring Bobby Roode up after him being one of the most prime performers and attractions in NXT while holding that NXT championship. Bobby Roode was a must-see act. The best thing you got for Bobby Roode when you bring him up to the main roster is to turn him babyface and feud him with Dolph Ziggler? What else did you fucking expect when you throw him from NXT and being a world champion right into the fire on SmackDown Live in a feud against Dolph Ziggler that means absolutely nothing to anybody? WWE, in my honest opinion, killed Bobby Roode without even realizing they killed Bobby Roode. That's how inept and that's how careless this creative team is. That's how inept and careless Vince McMahon is with everything that Triple H is doing down in NXT. And if I'm Triple H, I'm fucking pissed. Because I'm working my ass off to get NXT to a point where it's the most respected thing in the world of professional wrestling by grooming new talent that's coming into the company. Talent that could be the future of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. And what does WWE do when they get to the main roster? They act as if they don't fucking care. Can you imagine if WWE showed you the amount of care for everyone that was brought up from NXT? How different these shows would be? Everybody feels the same. They don't want one guy outshining their regular guys. They don't want the young guys outshining the main roster guys. They want to do what they want to do. They want to keep the young guys unimportant and away from big-time television. Meanwhile, they want to continue shoving Roman Reigns down your throat, and they want to fucking continue making Braun Strowman look like a fucking idiot, and they want to continue putting on bad television. Bobby Roode is unimportant to Vince McMahon now because of the reaction that he got from the crowd during his SmackDown Live debut. Whose fault is that? You were the one who thought that Bobby Roode should have been a babyface because of his theme music. Meanwhile, Bobby Roode, he never looked better than he did in NXT. He was the best thing in all of WWE during his time in NXT. But you want to make a subtle change to his character that not only ruined his fucking time in WWE up until this point, that literally has made him get off my... He is get off my TV worthy right now. Do you know how embarrassed I was last night when Bobby Roode is over there clapping along as Braun Strowman's beating up Kevin Owens? Clapping along like a fucking idiot. This is the same Bobby Roode that was telling Roderick Strong's wife, leave him, come get with a real man. I'll make a real fucking woman out of you. This is the Bobby Roode that we're getting on the main roster. Clapping along like a fucking retard to Braun Strowman. This guy should be fucking the biggest prick on the roster. This guy should be healing it up, stealing victories, fighting Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. That's where Bobby Roode should be. This guy should be brought up to the main event level, the way he was in NXT. Where is he now? He's no better off than No Way Jose. Yet I'm the one who complains. You're okay with lackluster television? You're okay with subpar television and subpar character development? You're okay with WWE taking something great in NXT and not applying it to the main roster because it's not theirs? It's like they treat NXT as if it's Ring of Honor. These people are grooming fucking talent for you. And what do? What the fuck you paying them for? What are you paying these people for? They're on your payroll to make your show better. They're on your payroll to make your future brighter. And you're killing them? This as a fan fucking kills me. It kills me. And it's just not Bobby Roode. It's everyone. Everyone they bring up for NXT. What do you think's going to happen to Velveteen Dream? He could get all the praise from John Cena he wants. What do you think's going to happen to Ricochet? What do you think's going to happen to Adam Cole? And Undisputed? What's going to happen to every fucking tag team that's in WWE right now under the NXT name? What? You think they're going to succeed? Not when you're throwing fucking B-team barbecues. That tag team division is a fucking embarrassment. It pains me as a fan to see the Revival on fucking television and you got Scott Dawson waving around a fucking hot dog like a dildo. These guys gave you the best fucking tag team match of the fucking decade down in NXT and you got them waving a fucking hot dog. Yeah, you're okay with this television. There's no one in that ring during that segment even worthy of saying championship. Because you made them that way. You may be laughing up in the back, ha 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 ha. Fans who appreciate fucking talent, unlike you people, are fucking sad and embarrassed to watch what you've done with what NXT did for you, giving you this fucking top tier talent. And then you got the idiots, you got the podcasters out there in the fucking community who are fucking dumb as rocks, who say, oh, not every act in NXT is gonna make it to the main roster. Are you fucking kidding me? So, John Cena could come out and say, Velveteen Dream is the next big thing in all of wrestling. Meanwhile, Velveteen Dream gets to Monday Night Raw. You're going to be having him dance with fucking No Way Jose too? You're going to have fucking pork and beans dropped on his head too? Not every talent from NXT makes it on the main roster. How could you fucking take DIY and the Revival? And I always go back to this match because it's fucking unreal. How could you take those two teams in that match, 2 out of 3 falls in Toronto at TakeOver, and not put that on Monday Night Raw in the main event and tell me that those acts wouldn't get over? Oh, the Revival is just boring as a team. They got no fucking charisma. Really? Why did NXT give them charisma? Why didn't NXT give them characters? Why didn't NXT give them freedom to resurrect tag team wrestling? Meanwhile, you get to Monday Night Raw and you got these guys as talented as they are in the tag team division fucking waving hot dogs around and eating fucking what look like white bread and a slice of bologna? Are you fucking kidding me? There's something fucking wrong with not only the people that fucking praise this garbage, but the people booking this garbage. How could you look at that segment and say, yeah, WWE has a flourishing tag team division? If I'm the Young Bucks, man, I am staying away. Away. There's no use for them to go to WWE. Why, so they get fucking killed too? You know WWE's gonna have it for them. Oh, you want to have all the success on the indies, now you're mine. Ha 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 ha. Fuck the Revival? Yeah, fuck the Revival. Really. Because that's what WWE did. Right up the ass. With no lube. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are holding tag team titles for what? They're holding tag team titles that are absolutely fucking worthless. Yeah, you'll have some fucking idiot. Oh, it's entertainment. I didn't laugh during that segment. I cried during that segment. It was so fucking bad. Then you got Titus O'Neil coming out, and you think I joke about it because it's funny. No, it's true, motherfucker. Talking about brisket and macaroni and cheese and pork roast and all this other shit. Apparently, I don't know where the fuck they got their catering service last night, but Titus was letting you know that he could do a better job with his catering service. It's exactly what everyone in that ring is. A catering VIP. Absolutely embarrassing to watch that segment last night. Yet it was a good show, right? Yet it was a great Monday Night Raw, right? Yeah, to the fucking idiot who has pee for brains, not me. Just as bad as last week, but what do you expect from a holiday edition of Monday Night Raw? Monday Night Raw started off with Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. If you watched last week's main event, you've seen nothing that was different here. It was literally rinse and repeat. The only thing that they erased and colored in with crayon was the fact that Kevin Owens was on the commentary table, and mid-match, he starts berating Braun Strowman. After the match, Braun takes a ladder and literally launches it from the ring, and he throws it at Owens. Owens manages to get away, but this was because Kevin Owens is taunting Braun on the microphone. And it was a scary moment. My brother was even asking me, because I was watching with him, he's like, what if Braun Strowman slipped in that moment and actually threw that in slightly the wrong way and it went towards the crowd a little bit more? That's a dangerous fucking spot. But it looked good. It paid off and it looked good. But Kevin Owens instigating Braun Strowman here, and he retreats to the back, literally running for his life. So that was that. Finn Balor wins by DQ here. Owens came in and interfered. He was going for a coup de grace. He hit one. He was going to go for a second one, but he pushes Finn Balor off the top rope. There's Kevin Owens, and DQ there. He gets Braun Strowman disqualified. Elias is in the ring, just running down the city that they're in last night, and he's telling them it's a trash city. They go to commercial during Elias' concert. They come back, and Seth Rollins interrupts Elias. And I was like, oh my goodness. Here we go. This could be the start of what we discussed on Off the Script. And I love when I'm right on something, or I love when I predict something is going to happen. And no, it's not easy to predict these types of things because nobody really knew what the fuck they were doing with Elias. Elias is just all over the place. But I'm happy that WWE is using what I pitched for Elias. They're not listening to the show. I doubt it. But if you are, continue listening. Because your show is garbage. And whatever I already discussed in this review is the way the show should have been booked. So Seth Rollins interrupts Elias. Elias isn't happy at all. They face off and he leaves quiet, like I said. Jinder Mahal and Seth Rollins had a decent match. Mahal pulled out a very nice-looking gut buster during the match, but the finish saw Rollins get disqualified when he unloaded on Jinder with the chair. That frustration because Jinder tried to cheat. Sunil Singh tried to get involved. Sunil Singh got, beat up during the match. Rollins had enough. He took the steel chair. He defended himself, kept the title. After the match, Rollins chased Jinder up the ramp with more chair shots. Singh tried to stop him, but he got beat up for his efforts. Rollins then gets on the announce table. Elias comes out of nowhere with the guitar shot, knocks him off the table and off the stage, and Rollins is then carted away on a stretcher. Medics are out there, and Rollins is in a neck brace. Rollins gets off the stretcher, and he insists on walking on his own, and they carry him off in arm-in-arm with some officials. Ronda Rousey's in the, not in the ring, but Nia Jax's in the ring with Ronda on commentary. Nia went against some jobber last night, and Nia was provoking and bullying not only the referee, but her opponent, and she was bullying Ronda Rousey, which we discussed already in this review earlier on. But Nia pretty much saying that, I'm not afraid of your armbar or whatever you call it. And she had her opponent apply the armbar, and she showed the strength that she has to get out of the armbar, and she says that she's going to do the same thing to Ronda Rousey so the armbar doesn't, intimidate her. Jax tells Rousey about how her leg drop can crush a woman's chest, but she has another move that can do the same. She does a Samoan drop on her opponent as well. So Jax calls Ronda Rousey out, tells her to come to the ring. Rousey heads to the ring. They circle each other, and Jax asks if this is the intimidating look she's heard about. Because Ronda goes from smiley Ronda to, serious Ronda, Terminator Ronda. Jax says she's not so intimidated by it, and she finds it humorous, and she starts laughing in Ronda's face. So Jax drops the microphone, turns and leaves the ring as Rousey continues to stare at her and does nothing as far as retaliation goes. WWE trying desperately to tell a story in this match, which is not really believable whatsoever. It's too little too late. I do not believe anything coming out of the mouth of Nia Jax. On top of that, she looks like an embarrassment after what we've seen her do with Alexa Bliss. Now the tides have changed, and now she is the one bullying after she was the one standing up for the bullying. I don't understand that. So I don't really get what they're trying to tell here. To me, it's too little too late, and I really don't give a fuck about anything right now concerning these two. I think it's too soon for Ronda. The only thing that would save WWE here is one of two things. One, it's a quick match and Ronda wins the championship. It can't look any worse than it does on Nia Jax right now. Or number two, we get a cash in. We get the Money in the Bank women's ladder match happen first, and then this match happens somewhere in the middle of the show, and we get a cash in on the same night, which I hope is the direction that they go in. Because you got Natalya there who is all over the place with Ronda Rousey. The story now between this dilemma should be Natalya taking the title away from Ronda. Because they're friends, right? And a friend wouldn't steal an opportunity from somebody else who they call a friend, right? So that would turn Natty heel, and you would have Ronda's first program, which should be with an actual wrestler that would make her look good instead of a pending disaster with Nia Jax. I don't give a fuck about anything that these women did last night, and neither should you. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus the Ascension. They took a break from their dessert tasting in the back for Titus Catering. Titus wanted to know whether they wanted the cheesecake or the crumb cake for catering. So they had a decision to make there. So, when Titus was coming up with the decision, he told them to go out there and have this match with Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Needless to say, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt won with the kiss of deletion. And WWE still treating Matt and Bray like a makeshift team that's held together by Scotch tape. I don't believe in this team anymore. I don't really give a fuck about either one of them at this point. Even though I love Matt, Bray, I think, is holding him down even more so now. And they don't really feel like a legit team. I honestly feel like they're just together for the sake of being together. Nothing about them resembles a team. I don't give a fuck if you come up with cohesive moves together. You still have these guys coming out to separate entrances. It doesn't feel like a tag team, let alone them being the tag team champions. They win in a nothing match, pretty much just to get them on the show. Kiss of deletion, Matt covers Victor for the win. Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens. This match I didn't really care for because I don't care about Bobby Roode. And that's a damn fucking shame. Kevin Owens wins here. Owens whips Roode for the pop-up powerbomb. Roode avoids it. Roode tries to roll Owens up, but Owens drops down and turns the pin around on him, reverses it, and Owens gets the win clean here on Monday Night Raw. After the match, Owens celebrates. Roode looks on from the ring. Owens is leaving the ringside area. Braun Strowman's music hits, and he comes out to the ring. He chases Owens around the ring. Bobby Roode stops Owens so that Braun Strowman could get his hands on him. Couple of power slams, and Owens is out. Bobby Roode, like a fucking idiot, clapping along on the ring apron and on the turnbuckle, telling Braun Strowman to do more. Braun Strowman turns around and attacks Bobby Roode as well. And he gives Bobby Roode a running power slam, and Braun Strowman stands tall over both of his opponents at Money in the Bank. Trash. Bobby Lashley comes out and confronts Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn says that, I apologize. Those weren't really Bobby Lashley's sisters. They were actors playing the sisters, but all the stories were true. His expose on Lashley was rooted in reality. Sami knows that he's a good artist, and he doesn't expect anyone in the crowd to get it. He says history will look back on the interview very favorably. Sami goes on defending the segment and says that he's the one who should be receiving apologies from everyone because he deserves better, he deserves more, he deserves to be Money in the Bank, he deserves to be defeating Seth Rollins for the IC title instead of issuing an apology in Richmond, Virginia. So Lashley comes out, gets a cheap pop because he mentions Memorial Days and how it's special for the families and thanking everybody who served. So obviously everybody, gave him the obligatory, clap. He salutes everybody. Fans are chanting USA. That's the only way he's going to get a fucking reaction from this crowd because he's trash. He says Sami never contacted his sisters, but even they think he's quite entertaining. Lashley says that the stuff last week gets old fast and he can see that they have an issue between them and it should be settled in the ring. So Lashley challenges Sami to a match at Money in the Bank. Lashley tells Sami to do the right thing. They shake hands on it. And when they shake hands on it, Lashley doesn't let go. And he's squeezing Sami's hand. And he says, Sami, I want to apologize to you for what I'm going to do to you at Money in the Bank. And Lashley then lets Sami's hand go. If we didn't want to see it then, we certainly don't want to see it now. So WWE giving us a match that ultimately will be a bathroom break, which is sad on Sami Zayn's behalf. Really don't care about either one of these men or this program at Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre looked great. He beat Chad Gable with a Claymore kick. Gable, I hope, gets a decent push on Monday Night Raw. He's way too talented to be wasted away. Definitely one of the, I wouldn't say the Cinderella stories that could be told in WWE, but they got money in Chad Gable if they want to tell a decent story, man. He's, underutilized. He is one of those picks that is easy to fly under the radar. He's got a lot of talent, but right now he's being used in a enhancement jobber role. But Drew McIntyre is always looking impressive, man. He looked great last night. Claymore kick for the win after the match. McIntyre poses, and he just looks great, man. WWE creative would be foolish to not give this guy a fucking title match or a title opportunity or a title run towards the end of this year. The B-Team barbecue was an embarrassment. They are lobbying for a tag team title match. They are trying to sucker up every other tag team in the division, claiming that they want the shot first. And Titus O'Neil is claiming that you want to jump everybody in the tag team division. It's not going to happen. There's a big food fight. There's a huge mess. Beans and hot dogs and bologna sandwiches and fucking apple pie and all this other shit, flying all over the ring. It was a downright fucking embarrassment. At the end of this thing, the B team find Rhino in the ring eating bologna sandwiches on his own, and then they end up powerbombing him through the table. And they start throwing fucking whatever else on him. Remnants of the food that was laying in the ring. They start taking fucking food off the ring and just start throwing it at Rhino, man. It was a sheer embarrassment last night. Absolutely garbage. Main event was the Last Chance Money in the Bank Gauntlet match between the women, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Dana Brooke, Mickie James, and Sasha Banks. Many of these women do not apply to even being in Money in the Bank. Notably, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, and Dana Brooke. They are nothing but fucking awful competitors. But this one had Bayley come out and start the entire gauntlet match with Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was eliminated as fast as you can blink. She was Bayley to bellied, and she was gone. Out came Sarah Logan. She was gone. Out came Ruby Riott, the final member of the Riott Squad, and she pinned Bayley. They booked this the wrong way. And I stand by what I said in the beginning of this show. Ruby Riott then goes on through Dana Brooke and Mickie James, and then Sasha Banks ends up winning this entire thing with a bank statement, and she ends up tapping out Ruby Riott for the final spot in the Money in the Bank. And I think it should have been Bayley, beating Sasha in the end. Sasha should have ran through everybody instead of it coming out, Bayley coming out first. Sasha should have ran through everybody, and she should have had a hard-fought match with Ruby Riott before Bayley came out and won, and just exposing Sasha Banks for the 30 minutes, and she should have picked apart Sasha Banks and reaped off Sasha Banks there. That's the story that should have been told, man. WWE had an opportunity to do something right, and once again, they do it wrong. They will never get the clue, man. They will never get the clue, but it's more about entertainment than anything else, right? Maybe we shouldn't worry about what creative does and just enjoy the show for what it is, and if you don't like it, don't watch it and fucking blow me. Anybody that says don't like it, don't watch it, clearly you are a sheep and you don't have a fucking thought of your own. I have to watch it because this is my livelihood. You don't have to watch it, but I'm going to watch it and I'm going to critique it, so you better get fucking used to it. Don't know how you haven't gotten used to it yet, but I'm going to critique the show. So anybody that comes at me saying don't like it, don't watch it, oh my God, man, you make yourself look like the biggest feeble-minded idiot on social media. Of course we will watch it, and of course we will criticize when we see wrong. And a lot of what we see on Monday Night Raw is wrong. This show is a downright fucking embarrassment. If I'm Fox and I'm watching this shit for the last 2 weeks, I'm shaving zeros off that $1 billion number. I'll tell you that right now. That's your Monday Night Raw review, man. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up. I'll see you guys for SmackDown Live. And we'll just take it from there, man. We got Joe and Brian tonight in the main event. Also booked Ty Dillinger making an appearance from catering against Shinsuke Nakamura. So we'll see that tonight on SmackDown Live. Until then, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media at JDFROMNY206 on Twitter. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. If you missed anything that I posted previously, man, off the script, 224, I believe it is, live on the channel right now. Also, I did a live stream where I opened my triple play contract and got fucked over in Black Ops 3. Live stream for an hour and a half yesterday, live on the channel as well. So if you want some video game entertainment, that is there for you guys to enjoy as well. But SmackDown Live tonight, Joe Bryan should be good. First time ever in a WWE ring. I hope they deliver, man. See you guys tonight, and have a great Tuesday afternoon.